Tag and Brag Nation and Goose Chasers, this episode is brought to you by Code Blue. Code Blue continues to perfect scent technology with industry-leading products. The From One Deer to One Bottle collection process is a breakthrough technique that guarantees the certified deer urine comes from a single deer rather than several, producing the purest, most potent scents on the market. Combine that with the human odor eliminating Decode line featuring patent pending silver scent technology, the most powerful scent eliminator available. Hunters who know where to go for advanced olfactory products choose Code Blue, the brand backed by science and proven by results. This episode is also brought to you by TAGNBRAG Apparel, the Make Hunt Camp Great Again movement. The hat that I'm wearing, the hoodie that I'm wearing, we have different color variations on our website. Head over to join the movement to tagnbrag.co today and get yours. All right, Goose Chasers, we are back on the podcast. I know it's been a couple weeks. We took last week off. We were in Kansas on a serious grind and running and gunning. Kansas was an awesome trip. It was a long trip, very tiring, very rewarding, I would say. A lot of hard work went into it. We were battling very warm temperatures, unseasonably warm temperatures in the 80s and 90s throughout most of the week. We had a couple cool days towards the end of the week, and the activity certainly ramped up, and we could tell that, you know, the deer movement was subsided a lot because of that warmer weather, and nothing that we can do about it. You know, we do our best to just ride out what Mother Nature gives us. Not much you can control with the weather, but when you're on a hunt that is got a specific time limit, that is basically from date A to date B, there's really nothing you could do. You can't take hunts off. The deer are always out there anyway, so it's certainly not the only way that you take yourself out of an equation or out of an opportunity is by not being there. So Dean and I were gutting through it. We were busting our tails trying to get it done. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, and it certainly wasn't for a lack of trying. We were definitely close. We had deer moving on camera. There was a couple days there where, you know, we were in spot A and should have been in spot B, or maybe the wind wasn't good for B and we were in A, and it just, the stars didn't align for whatever reason. And we continue to build the story. We will be going back out to Kansas at some point this fall. We are not done there yet, so y'all can look forward to that. But if you haven't followed along with any of our Kansas hunts, I encourage you to go over to our YouTube channel immediately. Hit that subscribe button. We've already got 4 episodes posted. We got 3 more to go. It's a lot of awesome action and just a lot of awesome deer activity and action in the Kansas vlogs, especially the vlogs towards the latter part of the week, where we felt like we were just inches and moments away from giving ourselves an opportunity. But rather than talk about all that stuff, I would love for you guys to go over and check that out on our YouTube channel. We did a pretty good job, I feel like, filming and documenting that all to try and bring you all along with us. And yeah, I think it's funner to watch it rather than for me to talk about it. And today we have a special guest that is coming on the podcast. Mike Novak is our new editor and producer. He is helping us out a ton since turkey season, actually. Produce a lot of our vlogs. He was the one who literally produced the entire After the Chase series, which was his idea, an awesome idea. And anybody that has watched it so far on our YouTube channel, the After the Chase series, has loved it so far. It was a really cool project where we kind of took our last year's footage and tried to use it. Well, we did use it again, and Dean and I got to take a little bit of a deeper dive into why we were doing what we were doing, why we made some of the decisions that we made. And it was a way for us to kind of reflect on last year's season. It was also a way for us to kind of give you guys a little bit more of our thought processes and like making the decisions that we do in the moment. So really cool series. Once again, if you haven't seen that, go check it out on our YouTube channel. But that was 100% Mike's idea. And we are working him into the mix where he is editing vlogs for us as much as he can. He's got a full-time job as well, and he's helping us on the side, which is not really on the side because we give him a lot of pretty much full-time work for the week also. And your boy is still busting his tail full-time behind the computer editing some of this stuff also. So Mike has been on a 12-year quest, to shoot his first buck with a bow. Are you kidding me? A 12-year quest. That's insane. And he finally got it done a couple days ago. And I want to talk about it with him. I want to hear the story. I want to hear about his emotions, what went into it, the work that he went into it, how he felt along the journey, and how he feels now that he has gotten that monkey off of his back. So without further ado, Mike Novak from none other than TAGNBRAG and TAGNBRAG Productions. Mike, take it away. All right, Goose Chasers, we are joined with the TAGNBRAG editor and producer, Mr. Mike Novak. And recently got his bow hunting wings. So we've got a lot of things to talk about in a short period of time on this podcast today, but wanted to have Mike on, number one, to kind of talk through what we've been going through this season, how much he's helped us out this season, and a lot of the content that you guys are seeing on our YouTube channel is coming from this man right here. We are extremely grateful to have him on board, but also we are all always on a goose chase, and Mike's goose chase for his first deer ever, or first buck ever?
First buck with a bow.
First buck with a bow ended 2 nights ago, and we're here to talk about it. So, Mike, how we doing?
Well, doing a lot better now that I finally got that monkey off my back.
I mean, that is such a relieving feeling. I know, like for me, it's a relieving feeling to fill a tag regardless, but
right.
To get that one off your back, I can't even imagine how you're feeling right now.
Yeah, it's been 12 years of bow hunting. I've been bow hunting since I was 16. I'm 28 now. And first year I went out with a crossbow, and then every year since then I've been going out with a compound bow. And man, I've just had bad luck, honestly. Like between either me not being prepared or just things not going my way. I mean, I've missed. I lost count of how many deer I've missed with a bow, and then I think going into this year, I've hit 2 or 3 with a bow. But you know, after doing everything I could to look for the deer, I came up empty-handed. And then, you know, as recently as last Monday, I hit a buck, and I thought for sure finally the curse was broken, right?
Yeah.
And it just turned into one of those things again where it led to nothing. I did everything that I could to look for that deer. I even had a dog come out and help me look for, it was like 13 hours after the shot. And watching, I don't know if you've ever used a blood tracking dog before, but they are amazing to watch work. And that dog, he found that deer. Well, he found fresh blood 13 hours after the shot. And then they jumped some deer afterwards, and he followed a trail that went straight uphill. And I mean, for my experience, at least, whenever a deer that's injured goes straight up a hill, it's usually like, it's going to be okay. Well, it's not dying that night. And I did go back out a couple days later to look for it, and I came up empty again. And I just got in my own head after that like I'm just not meant to be a bow hunter. Like I'll just go out during rifle season, take the 308 out, and call it a day.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Stay strong. I mean, I've been there at a younger age, but it took me probably at least 3 to 4 years of like hard bow hunting before I ever shot my first deer with a bow. And same with you. Like I can't even remember all of the opportunities that I missed.
Yeah.
unfortunately, I wounded a couple deer in the process.
That's the
I don't know
worst.
that
It sucks.
yeah, it sucks. It's kind of unfortunately part of the game. If you
Yep.
haven't done that, you either don't have a lot of experience, or you just maybe
Yep.
don't bow hunt at all. Because if you've done it long enough, like it's the unfortunate part of what we do.
Yeah.
You know, not everything's perfect. There's variables that are unmeasurable that you can't prepare for. And so, yeah, I've
Yeah.
I've been there before too, but yeah, I'm
And then,
glad that you got the monkey off your back.
yeah, I was going to say, and then like for the past couple of years, I don't know who I thought I was. I don't know if I thought I was freaking Michael Waddell or something, but I was passing up, respectable deer left and right for a couple of seasons. And, I got to the point this year that I was like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm acting like I have, a handful of like giants under my belt that I should be passing these deer. And so I went into this season with a fresh mindset of I'm a hunter, I'm a bow hunter. I'm here to fill the freezer and not just put antlers on the wall. And so like
Yeah.
I took like I said, I took the opportunity last week and it didn't work out for me. And it took me a while. Well, I say a while, but it was really a week to mentally get back in the headspace of, okay, I can do this. I'm here and it's going to happen. And so I went out on Monday, and it was everything I do is a train wreck. I don't know if you've gathered that. Like everything's an ordeal. And Monday was no different. I got out in the woods late. I had to make a mile loop to get to my stand because I left something in my other tree. And then on my way up to the stand, I bumped probably 10 does. And I sat down and I was like, it was warm. I was sweating. I didn't even have any layers on yet. And I was like, but I don't know what I'm doing here. I should just be home. I have plenty of stuff I can be doing at home. Like, why am I even here? And then I don't know. As soon as I sat there for a couple of minutes, that sun went down below the trees and the temperatures just dropped. It felt like it dropped like 15 degrees at least in like 30 minutes. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And the main reason why I even went there in the first place is I have a couple of trail cameras out there, and I have one on a mock scrape that I made, which I've never had good luck with mock scrapes. I make them and then nothing even like walks by it. But this year,
Yeah.
Since talking to you and everything, I've been trying the Code Blue stuff, and so I have a rope-a-dope out in front of my one camera, and I put some of that grave digger stuff out there. And I when I was walking in, I checked it, and the deer have been keeping it clear. Like if I made a mock scrape, it was covered in leaves in 2 days. But this one, it's been staying clear and getting pictures of bucks on it. And the couple of days leading up to Monday, I've been getting a ton of rut activity out there. So that was the main driving factor for me even going there.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I saw a handful of does, and then it got to about 15 minutes before end of light, and I look back behind me to my left, and I see antlers, and I'm like, all I got to do is make sure that it's legal, because here in Pennsylvania, there's antler restrictions, and it's different for different areas, but like the area that I'm in, it just has to have at least 3 on one side, and that includes a break point. So after confirming that he had that, of course, he took a trail and he just started like going away from me. And I thought, well, there it is.
For sure.
But with it
Another
being the rut
one
and everything, what? Another one gone? Yeah.
Yeah.
But remembering that it's like early rut into the rut, I grabbed my grunt call. I gave him a few grunts, and that deer came circling right back behind me. And it probably took him 15 minutes to finally like work his way into range. And the whole time I'm self-filming too. Like I kind of put that on the back burner, but you have like kind of reinvigorated me with it. Like, I don't know. I love filming. I love hunting. But like for a while there, the two just, I needed to separate the two. But like after working with you guys, it's like no, I can do this, and it's going to be fun to do it. So yeah, I got it. I got the camera on him. He stepped out at 30 yards, and when I drew back, dude, I drew back. I was shaking like a freaking leaf. Like I don't know. You would have thought there was something wrong with me, and I could not get my pin to hold steady on this deer. And I'm just holding on him. I'm like, just 1 second. I just need 1 second to hold steady on this deer. And finally, I got the pin to float right where I wanted it to, and I let go, and I watched it bury right behind the shoulder and go through the other side, and I watched that deer take off, and he fell down in like 60 yards, and I just came unglued in the sand.
No.
I was, I'm getting like goosebumps and like shaking just thinking about it right now.
Dude.
It was incredible.
That is so awesome.
Like, I know, I mean, I hate the fact that like I respect that deer so much, and I'm so happy and proud of that deer, but I hate the fact of like thinking about what other people might think about the deer, because I mean he's a 6 point, he's a 4x2, and he's not the biggest deer. He's a 2.5-year-old. You know, most people, maybe not most, but like a lot of people will say, oh, you got to shoot more mature deer, this, that, or the other. And that's the mindset that I've had. But going into the season, I was like, no, I need to, you know, get my feet wet, break the ice, and just be a hunter and not get wrapped up in all that social media bullshit.
Well, yeah, because when you get wrapped up in all that, you realize that, number one, like, you're seeing a small snippet of what like you said, like in your case, what could have been a 12-year journey for that, you know, for that one moment. And then, and so social media, as cool as it is to connect all of us, like, that is the flaw in that it's a highlight reel. And when you start comparing and contrasting yourself to other people, like somebody like yourself, like you said, for the past couple years, to be passing up anything.
Yeah.
When you just need to notch the belt and get one, you know, get one under the belt, get that feeling, like release that arrow, see it hit its mark, watch the deer go down, and then be able to take care of the deer, you know, then after that, like, that is so important, you know. That's so important. And I mean, that's kind of where, yeah, exactly. For the confidence, 100%. Like, you're a hunter at the core. You're a hunter, and you're not a passer. You know, like, that's not. But that's become like a thing, obviously. But you're not like, we're not in the woods to like pass these deer, and you know, trail cameras have changed that a lot, because now the unknown is definitely shrinking. I don't know if it's completely diminished per se, but it's definitely shrinking down to the point where it's like, okay, you know, unless a mystery something comes running from like a county away, you know, generally we know what's in this area, or we know what's using this piece of property. And man, it's such a, that's why I think it's so hard for like younger people or anybody new to get into the sport these days, because of, case in point, like, you're sitting there, and it's no fault to you. It's the society and like the deer or the hunting community that we live in, you know. That's basically telling you, like, you've got to pass deer. You can't shoot a deer unless it's this standard, or unless it meets this benchmark. And the reality is, a majority of hunters aren't going to have that feat in a season. They're just not, you know. So why, as somebody new to it, or somebody like yourself that is looking for their first one, why are we putting that on ourselves, you know?
Exactly. And like, so before we started this, I had like this idea that, you know, for the people that are watching on YouTube and not so much listening, but I want to try something here, and I want to see how hard this is to sound out. Can you read that word? Might not be able to read it on my camera. It's a little bright.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. That seems to be the hardest thing for people to say, is that word right there.
You're damn right it is.
That's all you have to do. There's nothing wrong with seeing something, disagreeing with it, but if they're happy, just say the word. Just say the word. It's not that hard.
It really isn't. And it's unfortunate that the hunting industry has gotten to that point. And you know, it's gotten so possessive that it's like people talk about the deer like they're theirs, you know, like that specific animal is like meant for them, or just because they got a trail camera picture of it and they know that it exists now. Oh, like this is my deer. This is my, you know, whatever. And it's just not the case. And if like somebody like yourself, like that is a monumental moment. That is a beautiful story. Not only did you get your first buck with a bow, but you self-filmed the damn thing.
Yeah.
Somebody else who wants to be up next? You step up to the plate and let's see if you can do it. If you're gonna smack talk that in any regard or in any light, then step on up to the plate and let's see what you got. Because I mean, dude, don't let anyone take that moment away from you for what it is, for the hard work and the dedication that you've put in. A lot of people, I would guarantee, would have given up a long time ago on that, on this specific venture. They would have given up a long time ago. So kudos to you for just keeping rolling. And like you said, even a week ago, like you're on one of bow hunting's complete lows. And now this week you're at the ultimate high. And like, what more could you ask for? You know?
Oh yeah.
It's just, I don't know. That's so cool. And congratulations with it and everything. I'm proud of you, dude. It's an amazing story. And happy. Stories like that make me happy.
Oh, it was definitely one I'll never forget. And yeah, the thing that makes it just that much better for me is the fact that I do have it on film. Not that it was necessary, but the fact that I get to relive that moment, not only in my head, but also like with my eyes over and over again. Like it's just, every time I watch it, I just get pumped up again.
That's poetic, man. It's poetic.
I'll tell you what wasn't poetic, though.
Oh, no, go ahead. No, you go first. Go first. I want to hear this.
What wasn't poetic was everything that happened afterwards. We get to the deer. So after I shot it, I'm about 3/4 of a mile back in this piece of public, which 3/4 of a mile, it really isn't too bad, right? But there is.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. By the way, everyone, this was a public land deer as well. So add fuel to the fire for all the haters out there.
Yeah.
Jeez, oh man, dude. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Oh, you should see it in rifle season. You got to be up in a tree, otherwise you're getting bullets flying past you. But so 3/4 of a mile back in this piece of public, which 3/4 isn't too bad, but it is down and up this other side of this super steep ravine. And so I walked in there, and now I'm having to figure out how to get this thing out of there. So I call a buddy of mine, and I'm like, hey, I know you work in the morning at 5 a.m. It is, I think, like 6:30 at that point. I said, but I could really use your hand right now. He doesn't really have an idea of where I'm at. He has a rough idea, but he couldn't get there by himself. So I have to walk all the way out, get him, like meet up with him, and then walk all the way back in. And then for me, since I was filming it, I wanted to continue filming like the recovery and everything. So not only am I bringing cameras back in, but I'm bringing my bow in also. I'm bringing like my backpack in, like I'm bringing everything back in. So I still have all that weight with me. So we go to look for the deer, and it was wild. I was using not a REK, and I'm strongly considering switching because there was not a whole lot of blood.
Really?
Like on the blood trail. Like it was.
And you got a full pass through, I'm assuming?
Yeah, complete pass through.
Okay.
Completely wiped out the bottom of both lungs. But there was not a whole lot of blood whatsoever. And so in the dark. I'm like, I'm starting to panic. Like everything, like it's Groundhog Day all of a sudden. Even though I saw that deer go down, I'm like, now I'm second guessing everything. So we start like this trail that I think he went, and I'm not finding any blood whatsoever. And I go probably like 200 yards or so, and I can start to see like posted signs for like private property. And I'm like, oh, geez, don't tell me he made it this far. So then I stop right there. I tell my buddy, just wait here, and I'm going to go back to my stand, and I'm going to shine a light from my stand on where I think I saw him crash. And I didn't make it 15 yards back towards my stand, and I saw him piled up right on a log, and I was like, okay, there we go. Now it's finally complete. So then, of course, me being me, I'm like, okay, I need video, I need pictures, I need this, that, and the next thing. Meanwhile, the poor guy, it's 7:30, and he has to be at work at 5 a.m., and I'm dragging him through all this stuff, and he was a trooper. I appreciate it. He's a really good buddy of mine, and I truly appreciate everything he did for me that day. But then, so we get done with all that, and it's time to drag this deer out now. It probably took us the better half of 2 hours to get that thing out of there.
Oh my gosh.
And like it was a good sized deer, not huge. Like it I don't know, maybe 180 pounds or so live weight.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more. But my God, it was I'm still sore today. It's 2 days later, and I'm still like feeling it. I haven't like recovered yet. But no, that was probably like the worst part of it. But still, like, it was still part of the process. It was still part of the experience. It was part of the memory, and it definitely created a large part of the memory there too. And
oh, for sure. You look back on that in a couple of years with your buddy, and you're like, dude, remember the time when I shot my first deer with a bow, and we had to drag that thing like 3/4 of a mile down and up massive hills in the pitch black, and it was like freaking 8 or 9 at night. Like that's awesome. That's what makes it. And it's exactly why like I'm just pumped that you made the decision to just shoot something, just not because like that part of the process is all such a necessary part of it too. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Is because honestly, that's when the real work begins, especially when you're on public land and you're back in there and you're not getting a vehicle back in there. Nope. You're not like, there's no easy way to get this thing out other than the manpower that you and your buddy got. That's it.
Yeah.
And so
the worst part,
that part of it, that part of it is just, it's such a part of the experience. And when you're on public land like that, or even on private land, like you could be far back in somewhere and maybe that like gives you like part of an excuse not to shoot something, or part of an excuse not to like carry out like that, the abilities of a hunter, and you could make that an excuse for yourself. But when you don't, like, as hard as it is and as sore as you are today still, like, I don't know, those stories are friggin' awesome, because I can only imagine what you guys were going through and what you were saying in the process and what that felt like and everything.
Yeah, he told me halfway out, he said, yeah, I'm not helping you drag another one out of here. I know he was kidding, but I was honestly thinking the same thing too.
This is my first and last time we're doing this.
Pulling that stand next week, and I'm done with it.
Oh, that's funny. That is funny. Dude, that's so cool. That's awesome. I mean, I'm so pumped for you. And that's like, I don't know, that should be an example for other people, for people that are just getting into the sport. Like, not that you're just getting into it by any means, but like, it just should be an example for other people that like, your standard doesn't have to be everybody else's standard.
Yep.
Your standard is your standard. And if something trips your trigger, or if something gets your heart pumping or your blood going, like, you got to ride that, and don't make any excuses for it. Don't like it. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, like Dean and myself, we have different standards, and we've been doing this a long time. We've been fortunate enough to have some pretty solid success. you know, in the field and stuff. And I just, yeah, I would never, I don't know, even still, like now that we've kind of gotten to where we've gotten, like, I don't ever want to take that away from myself. Even like,
Yeah.
if there's a buck that gets my heart going, and that, like, in the moment that I feel like this is it,
Yeah.
I'm going to let it be it. I'm going to let it be it, no matter what size that deer is or what he looks like or anything. And
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
how it should be. And like you said, the people in this community, our hunting peers and our hunting buddies, should just say congratulations and move on. And
Yep.
you know what? See what happens to you when you do that. Because
Yeah.
if you want to bash somebody else or judge someone else, like, season, if you do that the next day and having the utmost, like, success, that's for sure. Because we're in nature. This is a
Yeah.
law of attraction. So what goes around comes around.
Yes.
What you put out is what you give, or what you give is what you get. And I guarantee you, if you're the one on there on social media making comments or whatever, even honestly having thoughts of, like, you know, if somebody sees a photo of you and your buck and they're like, oh man, that thing is tiny, like, I would have never shot that deer. Well,
Yep.
bro, you would have never walked 3/4 of a mile back on this public land to even attempt it anyway, because you're hunting
Yeah.
14 feet out your back door. You know, so, like, you can judge people all you want to, but at the end of the day, we're all in the same community, and we need to support each other and rally around the success that each one of us is having. And that's just how I feel.
Amen. Amen.
What is it like? Because, so for you guys that don't know Mike's been on the production and the filming side of the outdoor industry for how long now? Like 8 years, 9 years? A lot.
Started in 2018, but I was doing it like very, very amateurly with just my dad before that. But I would say professionally since 2018. So that's 6 years, I think.
Okay. So 6
Yeah.
years. So, but
Yeah.
when you're on that side of it, like, obviously you're surrounded by people that probably do have a higher standard and that have,
Yeah.
like, you know, they're out for a specific something. Like,
Yeah.
do you think that kind of played an effect or had an effect on you and how you were thinking about going about your season and your hunts?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And not in a bad way. Like I just, like I said, like the past couple of seasons, I thought I was like Michael Waddell pretty much. Like I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I can't do anything that doesn't make quote unquote TV standards. And I just had that like mentality and got wrapped up in it all that it's like, no, this is who I am as a hunter, and this is who I need to stay true to as. And, as I get, further in my hunting career and I get like, more and more under my belt, my standards will raise just because, like, I don't know, I like setting goals for myself, but
sure.
I also like setting realistic goals for myself as well.
Yeah.
And, between the time that I've had in the past to hunt and the time that I have now, like, my standards were way too high. And like you said, like it being in the industry and seeing these deer and seeing the way that people hunt deer and like how their standards are, I try to put myself in that same bracket, and it just wasn't realistic for myself.
Yeah.
It very well could have happened, but I probably would have been waiting another 12 years.
Well, yeah, and too, like, if you get to like the top of that mountain with your, like, at the end of the day, hunting, as hunters, like, we're taking a life, and that needs to be respected more than anything. So
Absolutely.
whether it's a 3-point, a 6-point, a 12-point, 34-point, it doesn't matter. It's all still a life at the end of the day. And that needs to be respected. And I think that gets a little disrespected when we start judging the size and the age and whatever of that specific animal. So, like, I feel like if you would have, like, it was almost like God was like, you can't have like the top of the mountain moment yet, where it's like you're shooting a 150-inch deer. You're the first time, the first deer that you ever kill with your bow,
essentially earn my stripes.
And I think that's good. Like, that's good. Like, then you have another standard to set for yourself. Okay. And then like next year, it's like, now there's another standard to set, and you can kind of climb the ladder a little slower than just getting thrown into the mix and shooting a massive deer and having that be your standard. And now, maybe it diminishes a buck like you just shot, down the road. Like it diminishes that life a little bit down the road. And I don't know, that's just like a weird thing to me. Like judging an animal based on the size of it or the age of it, when you're out there trying to take its life, it seems counterproductive.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Yeah, it's and it's a really, like, it's a weird line to walk, and it's a funny line to walk. With sorry, my dog's crawling out from under the bed right now.
It's all good. Don't worry, I got a lap dog that's sitting under me too.
Come on, Rosie.
Rosie wants to get in on the podcast.
Yeah, apparently. Oh yeah, my wife just got home from work for lunch, but yeah, no, it's a really, like, weird and, like, funny line to walk with it, because, like, they're nobody's really wrong with the way that they think, like, with what deer they should shoot and, like, what deer they want to pass. Like, there's not really, like, a right or a wrong with that. And like you had said, it's all personal preference. And it's I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. My dog kind of ruined my train of thought there.
No, I mean, you're right though. There is no right or wrong. I think the right and wrong come in when you start making your goals and your standards somebody else's. And then, and then the judgment that goes along with that. Like, not everybody's been hunting as long as you have, or, not everybody has had as many deer under their belt as you have. Not everybody's gotten to hunt a place like Kansas or Iowa or, Illinois or one of these big buck states to have an opportunity at a buck like that. And like for us growing up and hunting in Western New York, dude, a 2.5-year-old 8-point, that was a trophy whitetail. That was a trophy whitetail for us growing up. Like, if anybody in camp got anything bigger than like a little forker or a basket rack 6 or something, that was a huge accomplishment. You'll get laughed at by people in Iowa if you say that, but that's how we grew up. Like, that was the standard. I can't help that. Like, whether it's the laws or the people that were hunting around, like, I can't help the fact that we don't have a 3.5-year-old to speak of on our property because the rifle hunters come in and whack anything with horns. Like, I can't help that. And so I think that's where it gets like misconstrued a little bit, is like, everybody's more than welcome to their standards and what they want to shoot and what they want to put their standards at for the season. The problem comes in when you need everybody else's standards to be yours, and then you judge the ones that aren't.
Yes. Yeah. 100% agree with that.
And and then, and even like, even the people that kind of put the standards like higher and expect other people to, it's like, now I'll go out and shoot a big buck, but they'll be the first ones to say that, like, I don't know, I shot it in a high fence, or I did something illegal to get the job done. It's like, come on, man. Like, you set the standard that high, then I met it, and now you're telling me I did it all wrong. It's like, geez, oh man, you can't freaking win.
No, there's just some people that you just can't satisfy, no matter what you do, how you do it, or anything like that. And that's where it all circles back to hunting for yourself, hunting for your own standards, your own goals, and being happy with the decisions that you made. And, at the end of the day, respecting that animal and, putting food on the table.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Well, I'm super pumped for you. Don't stop celebrating this moment. Don't stop feeling it. Go back and watch the footage as many times as you can. just to
Oh,
keep
yeah.
reliving that moment and just kind of creating that energy, because it's only going to fuel the fire for what's to come.
Absolutely. I have a hunt in Ohio and Kentucky going into end of next week, and I don't know if I'm going to raise my standards for those two states. I might just keep my standards right where they're at and just keep riding that high.
Dude, I don't blame you one bit. It's awesome to hear you say that. And now I feel like you can at least go into those hunts with a little like deep breath and kind of weight off your shoulders, because
Yes,
the monkey's off your back now.
the
It's
monkey's
like
off the back.
whatever, just let whatever come to you and soak it in and enjoy the time. I mean, that's the best part. The monkey's off your back and the season ain't over yet. That's a win-win right there for sure. And it's pretty early still.
It is. It's getting really good right now. It is. I mean, I shot that buck on Monday, and I already have. Monday night I had deer back on the camera. Like it's insane. The deer are moving absolutely everywhere. And if you're not in the woods right now, you're missing out.
Yeah, you are. I agree. Even with a little bit of the warmer weather. I mean, I grunted a buck in this morning that was literally, I just heard him grunting in the distance. And I'm like, I thought he was with a doe the whole time, because I could hear walking on the leaves and stuff. And I just threw a couple grunts at him. And all of a sudden, a minute later, he's at the creek 30 yards from me. He crosses the creek, comes right up to like 12 yards. And I'm like, and he was by himself, but he had to be just like walking around grunting, like, come on, somebody, like, be ready, or give me a doe or something. And so it was pretty cool. And then I had another buck while that one was standing under me, was grunting on the opposite ridge. And it sounded like he was chasing something, but I never got a glimpse of him. But I mean, this morning it was 60 degrees at sunrise, like 60 degrees on October 30th. That's insane. Like it's warm, but it's like it doesn't matter if it's hot, cold, raining, snowing, sunny, like Mother Nature's Mother Nature. And when Mother Nature says it's time to go, the deer are not going to discriminate on doing their business.
100%. I mean, has a warm summer night ever stopped you before? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Sometimes the warmer the better. I don't know.
Exactly.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, Mike, I appreciate you jumping on here. I know we both got a lot to get back to. There's a lot more of the production stuff to get rolling. So I appreciate you jumping on here, telling your story, and congratulations once again. Obviously, this won't be the last time that we see your face on here and hear your voice, but a massive congratulations from all of us here, and hopefully everybody who's watching this. It's a pretty cool story and awesome accomplishment.
I really appreciate it, David, and I really appreciate you having me on here. I know I've been behind the scenes mostly, but it feels good to be in front of it a little bit.
Yeah, no, I'm glad. And we'll get into it more, like, as we kind of go through the rut and stuff, and we'll have you jump back on here and talk through some of the production stuff. Cause man, are we working hard behind the scenes? Like, this is crazy.
It is the content here right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, Mike is living right where he's at, not at work or with his wife. And where you see me at right now is where I'm living if I'm not in the woods, because it's awesome to document everything, but somebody's got to do the output of stuff and get stuff flowing out to the viewers and everything. So we really appreciate all your hard work, man. It does not go unnoticed.
I really appreciate it. I'm actually locked in David's basement right now. He's making it seem like somewhere out, but like he has me locked in the basement right now. Done.
Get it done. Get it done. We got to get another one out tonight. Well, good deal, man. Well, good luck in Ohio, in Kentucky, and we'll see you right back here on Goose Chasing sometime soon.
Sounds good.